Assalamu alaikum, my dear student of class 10. Hoping you all are fine. Today I shall discuss chapter 5 XML. Now what is the full abbreviation of XML? XML means extensible markup language. Here it is like this: EXTENSIBLE, extensible markup language. As we have discussed earlier about HTML, HTML is also a markup language, XML is also a markup language, but there is some difference. XML is a simple and flexible language, and XML was defined by W3C. W3C means World Wide Web Consortium. World Wide Web Consortium. It was developed in 1997 to overcome some of the loopholes of HTML. One of the disadvantages of HTML was HTML could not define the structure of the element. So in order to overcome this limitation or define the structure of element, XML was introduced. So and rest all are saying that XML is because XML is also a markup language. It is basically used in web designing, and XML is derived from SGML. SGML means Standard Generalized Markup Language. So the text of HTML derived from SGML. Now I shall discuss some of the differences between HTML and XML. Now both are markup languages. What are the differences? Number one, the differences, there are some differences. There are many differences between XML and HTML. Number one is the data separation. In HTML, the data, in XML, the data are placed within a common platform, but in HTML the data are separated. Another is data sharing. As XML data is stored in plain text, it can be exchanged with incompatible system. That means what? For example, I have built a HTML. I have done some HTML coding. Now this page, web page, can, suppose if I write the HTML in say Windows XP, so this will also run in Windows 7. This means what? If it runs, this is compatible. If it does not run, it is incompatible. So it can be, XML data can be exchanged. In HTML, data is a part of HTML document. Another is the document structure. XML follows a tree-like structure. It is like this. First it will be root, under root there will be child, under child you may have a subchild, then say other thing. This is, I am offing the tag. It is like this. It will be having, in XML the data are stored in a tree-like structure, like this: root, child, under the child is under root, this subchild is under the child. So this you can say this one is the child of this one. So a tree-like structure is formed. But in HTML, such structure is not there. Now here there lies the benefit of XML, that we can define the structure of the element in XML. This is the advantage of XML over HTML. Another is a tag. This is very important. As we have also discussed in our earlier chapter about HTML, that we have seen the HTML tags are predefined. Predefined means what? For example, if I want to insert an image, so I will be having a tag like this, img space src in case of HTML. So this img tag is used to insert an image. For example, I want to create a link, hyperlink, so I will be using anchor tag, a tag. So these tags are already predefined. They are known as predefined. So in HTML, the tags are predefined. But the benefit of XML is that the tags are user defined. That means what? We can define our own tag. So this is another difference between HTML and XML, that HTML tags are predefined and XML tags are user defined. Another is that in HTML there are some empty tags. I think you remember about empty tag. There are you have two types of element, empty element and content element. The tags which have only on but does not have off, they are known as empty, and those tags which are both on and off, they are known as container. Now in HTML there were empty elements, means tags, but in XML such thing is not, there is no such empty elements. Another is, in XML a nested pair cannot overlap another, a nested pair cannot overlap another tag, but in HTML we can overlap, the tags can overlap one another. But in case of XML, the nested tag, as because the tags are in T structure, the nested tags cannot overlap each other. Say for example, say this is my tag, say T1, then I have used tag T2, then first we have to off T2, then we'll off T1. So that it cannot overlap, but in HTML it can overlap. Another very important thing, difference between HTML and XML is that XML tags are case sensitive. Case means uppercase, lowercase. Uppercase, lowercase means capital letter and small letter. For example, say for example I have written my root as say ROOT. Now when offing means closing this one, so if I use like this, so this will be having problem. Here as because this tag corresponds with this tag, here you can see R is capital, here R is small, so they are different. So this is what, that XML are case sensitive, but HTML is not case sensitive. Another thing, the difference between XML and HTML is that the difference in the attribute. I think you remember what is attribute. The attribute is associated with a tag which defines a additional value, which gives additional information about the tag or element. in XML, all elements can have associated attribute, but such case is not there in case of HTML. Means what? Each element can have associated attributes, can have attributes with it, but in HTML this is not there. And lastly, the difference in the attribute value. In HTML, the attribute value can be written without quotation, or within single quotation, or within double quotation. That means what? The attribute value, say like this. This one I have written body BG color is equal to, say, red. Means I want this is of HTML. This is an example of HTML. So here body is a tag. Body is a tag of HTML tag. So this body is the tag. BG color is the attribute, and red is the attribute value. I am repeating again. Body is the tag. BG color is the attribute of this tag, and red is the attribute value associated with this attribute BG color. Now in case of HTML, the attribute value can be like this, without any quotation, means inverted comma, or within single inverted comma, or within double inverted comma. That means what? The attribute value can be without a quotation, or within a single quote, or within double quote. But in XML, the attribute value must be within double quote. That means what? In XML, the attribute example I will be showing. In XML, the attribute value must be within inverted commas. So this is the last difference between HTML. I think, hope you understand that the last difference between HTML and XML. Now another very important part, XML element. Now the most important thing of XML is its element. All the structure formed in the XML is from XML element. The XML element are everything, starting from the start tag to end tag, including the beginning and everything, even the content of XML are the element. An element can contain other element, simple or both. An element can also have attributes. So there is some rules how to form an XML element. Number one, the element name can contain letters, numbers, and other characters. This means what? The first one is that when we make an XML as, because the XML tag are user defined, so the elements when it is made, so how we should know how can we make an XML element name. How could we name an XML element? So number one condition is that the name can contain letters like ABCD, or numbers 1 2 3 4, or other characters, means symbolic characters. This is number one. Number two, name cannot start with a number or punctuated character. Means what? The element name cannot start with a number. We know that a name can have letters, numbers, or other characters, but the name cannot start with a numeric. A name should always start with a letter. Number three, name cannot start with the letters like, say, XML, or it is like XML, or like XML. the name XML element cannot start with the name these three, because is the name, it is the markup language, XML language. So these are like reserved word, so we cannot start a name with the name like XML, small letter XML or X capital letter ML, or like this. And name cannot contain spaces, and lastly is the name cannot contain spaces. So I am just showing an example. How could you name? Suppose say Hira. It is right, Hira, because condition is what? Name could have letter, number or another characters, and name should always cannot start with a number. So here my name is started with a letter, alphabetic, so it is right. If I write like this, say number, 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 so say number 1, so it is also a valid XML element because it contains it follows all the rules. But if I write it like this, one number, this is invalid. This is invalid because what? Name cannot start with a number. I hope you understand. So there are 4 rules. If you follow these 4 rules, we can make any HTML element. Now, as I told earlier, the XML code is like a tree structure. So I am just showing example. XML code. When we write the XML code, the first line will write about the XML version. So within we give XML version is equal to 1.0. So now next they have to write, next to define the root. Suppose say I am making one, so here I name it as say school. School is the root, and under school I make a child of school as say okay, let me name it as student. Say student, then name, then first name, say I give John. First name, last name, so John Smith. Last name, roll number 15, roll number, then class, say I wrote class 10. See here student is the root. Under root we have a child name, then the name element contains another two subchild. This is a child, it is another two child, first name and last name. Here the first name is John, then I have of, close, of this subchild, then last name, written the name of, then I am offing the name. Then we have another child of student, it is roll number, value, then of roll number, then class 10, then of this child, and then we are closing the student. This is the root. So this is the tree like structure. So XML has a tree like structure. I will be drawing you a tree. How I will be showing how to draw a tree. This is very easy, how to draw a tree. So XML code has a tree like structure. The first line is called the processing instruction. The first line, less than sign, then we give a question mark, XML version is equal to within double inverted comma 1.0, then question mark, then greater than sign. So the first line is known as processing instruction line. It starts with this sign, less than sign, question mark, and ends with question mark, greater than sign. Here student name, first name, last name, roll number, class, they all are elements. I am telling again, here student name, first name, last name, roll number and class, they all are elements. They are not element. The topmost element in a document is called the root element. Here my topmost element is what? Student. So student is the root. Student is the root element. Then any element may contain any other element. Any element may contain any other element. For example, see, the root element contains element name. Now the name element contains another two child, first name and last name, whereas then I am offering the name, then it is roll number. Now roll number is a child of student, class is a child of student. So here the student is the root, and how many child are there? 3 child. Under root there are 3 child, name, roll number and class. Now the name has another 2 subchild, first name and last name. And so this is how we draw a tree structure. All elements are nested in the root element. All elements are nested in the root element. Some are child of some other element. So I am drawing in your book, page number 94, you will find a different HTML code and the tree is there. So I am doing a different one. So what will be the tree structure of this XML code? So this is very easy. So first we will draw a rectangular shape like this. So see, my root is what? Student. My root is student. Now student, which elements are the child of student? So we saw that name, roll number and class. As because I have of name here, so it is a different child, it is different. So the student have 3 child, name, you don't get confused with these two. first name and last name is child of name. First name and last name is a child of name. Student child is name, roll number and class. Name, roll number, and this is, so I am just don't get, I am just overlapping because the space constraint. CLASS class. Now you can see here roll number do not have any child, class do not have any child, but the name contains another two child. So this will come under name, another two child. This is first name, and this is last name. So this here completes my, this is very easy, here completes my tree structure. So this is a tree of this XML code. Hope you understand. You can also look into a book how to draw a tree structure, how to make codes in your book. It is there in page 94. Now what we do now, how to type HTML, how to type the XML code. As you remember, we have basically we have written the HTML code in Notepad. Similarly, XML also we basically type the XML code in Notepad and save it as with .xml extension. As because in HTML we typed in Notepad and save it as .html. In XML we will type in Notepad and save it with the extension .xml extension. And then first we will open Notepad, we will type XML code and then we will save it with the extension .xml, and then we can view the XML output of the XML code in web browser like Internet Explorer. Now what is comments in XML? Comment. Comment, you may be familiar with the word comment. As for example, in your C language in class 9 when you started, we have seen that there are comment. Comment is what? Comment gives an additional information. Comment does not get interpreted, doesn't get changed. It gives additional information about a code. So in C also we saw that we have written comment within double slash. There were two types of comments, single line comment or multi-line comment. Single line comment we have written within double slash, and multi-line comment with slash star. Then we have written the comment and we have closed with star slash. So comment in XML is used to give an additional information about this element or about any statement or about any line. Comment can be inserted anywhere, and comment can be inserted anywhere. Earlier I have written XML code, so we can insert comment anywhere in XML document. And an XML processor will interpret the comments and then delimiters, and it will just interpret the comments. So how we write the comments? Basically, we write a XML comment with less than sign, then we give a sign of exclamation, then two dash, and then say this is a comment. So this is how we write a comment in XML. We start with less than sign, then we give a sign of exclamation, then we double dash. This is a comment, C or double M. So comment has no major rule in the interpretation. Comment is basically used to give additional information about any statement or about any element, and comment is written with like this, in this format. This is single line comment, and we can also have a multi-line comment like this. This we can have line, we can have anything in 2 lines, and then we'll close like this. We can add any 2 lines and then close like this. So it can be like this or this like this. Now what is white spaces in XML? HTML truncates. Truncates means it just cuts. Say for example, I wrote like this, then I have given 2 white space is a test. There is 1 white space, there is 1 white space, but there is 2 white space. When it gets interpreted in HTML, it is being truncated, means 1 space will be truncated, it will be cut. It is there in the case of HTML, but in case of XML, if I give 3 white spaces also, 3 will be there. So XML does not truncate the white spaces. And new line in XML stores a new line as LF, means line fed, and in Unix a new line is normally stored as LF character. Now how can you make an XML document? Well, from XML document. So there is a rule. How can you make a well-formed XML document? Rule number one, the root and the child should be nested in proper way. We should nest the root and the child in proper way. For example, in my earlier example, I wrote like this: student was the root and name was the child of student, then first name and last name was the child of name. So it should be nested. This is root, this is the child of this one, and this is the subchild. These are the subchild. Root, child, subchild. So it should be nested in proper way. Number 1. Number 2, each start tag must have correspond end tag. This is my tag, this is my tag, this is my tag. So I wrote like this, say Abdul. Last name, then I will off name, then I will off student. See here, each start tag has its corresponding end tag. Start, end, start, end, start, end, start, end. So every start tag must have its corresponding end tag. All empty tags must be enclosed properly. Here in this one, we do not have any empty tag. All are, see, you can see on, off, so there is no empty tag. But if you have any empty tag, it must be enclosed properly. As XML tags are case sensitive, the start tag and end tag must be of same spelling and case. See, here my say name, name is small letter, here is small letter, but if I wrote like this, see, here if it was N is capital, so this should have a problem because they should be of same case and spelling. So here because it is small letter, this is capital letter, so this is it cannot be formed, so it should be of same level, so it will be a small letter. And XML attribute values are enclosed with double inverted double quotation marks. Any values we should give within double quotation mark. That earlier I have it's like this one. It should be with, earlier I have just omitted double inverted comma. So it should be always, the value should be within double inverted comma. Earlier the roll number also I have not given, so it should be within double inverted comma. Now how can you validate an XML document? And a valid XML document must do the following. It must include a DTD. DTD means document type definition. What is DTD? A DTD provides a list of elements. A DTD provides a list of elements contained in an XML document and their relationship to one another. It provides a list of elements contained in a document and their relationship to each other. This is DTD. And the structure of XML document must match the structure defined by DTD. And the structure of XML document must be similar to the structure of the DTD. And XML supports two types of DTD. They are internal DTD and external DTD. Now what is internal DTD and what is external DTD? The internal DTD is contained within XML document. The DTD contained within an XML document is known as internal DTD, and when it is separate, any DTD which is separate is known as external. Internal DTD is contained within the XML document. External DTD is a separate file that defines the element or other document components of the current XML document. There are some key features of internal DTD. An internal DTD is contained in the XML document. It starts after this line, sign exclamation doc type. The DTD starts after this line, sign exclamation doc type, with a left square bracket. With a left square bracket. So DTD will be start after this with a left square bracket. It ends with a right square bracket and greater than sign, and it ends with a right square bracket and greater than sign. The first line in the square bracket mentions the order element. The first line within the square bracket, it mentions the order of elements, and the declaration of elements starts with the uppercase, starts with like this uppercase element. Then we have PC data. PC means parse corrected data, and it represents 0 or more characters. So PC data represents 0 or more characters, and basically there are two keywords. There are two keywords that must be used while we are referring to an external DTD. See, internal DTD is contained within the XML document, and external DTD is separate from the XML document. So while we are referring to an external DTD, two keywords are used. One is system, another is public. Now what is a system? The system keyword is used, indicates that the DTD is stored on the local hard disk. If the DTD is stored on the local because the DTDs may be internal inside the same computer, or it may be on the different computer. So if it is on the same computer on the local hard disk, so it will be the keyword is used is system, and the keyword public indicates that DTD is stored in a location where it is accessible to a large number of people. Another keyword which is also used with the external DTD, it is public. Public means what? If the data can be accessed by a large number of people, then we'll use the keyword public. So there are two keywords are used, system and public. Then we are coming to what is the XML application architecture. What will be the architecture of XML application? So first we will be having a user interface. User interface means what? The module through which the user can interact. Then we have the XML application or XML parser. Then from there data goes to is stored on a data storage location. So first the data are placed on user interface, then it goes to XML application, XML parser. From there the data is stored in the data storage. Now what is XML parser? XML parser is a software that reads an XML document. So XML parser is a software that reads the XML document. Like this, it reads this. It reads this one. So XML parser is a software that reads XML document, identifies all the XML tags. Now these are tags. As I told you earlier that in XML the tags are user defined, we can define. So these all are tags elements. So first it reads the XML document, identifies all the tags, and then passes the data to the various applications. Then it passes the data to the various applications. So first it will read the document, then it will identify the tags, and then it passes the data to various applications. So basically there are two types of XML parser. One is non-validating XML parser, another is validating XML parser. Now what is the difference between non-validating XML parser and validating XML parser? Non-validating XML parser checks if an XML document is well formed. If the document is properly marked up according to XML rules, all the browsers are validating XML parser. So basically what? Non-validating XML parser checks whether all the documents are in well formed. Now if they are in well formed, then all the browsers are non-validating parser. Now what is validating XML parser? The validating XML parser, it checks if an XML document is well formed and also ensures that all the elements in the document are exactly as specified in the DTD. Now difference is what? In validating, in non-validating, it just checks the XML document whether it is well formed or not. But in validating XML parser, it checks whether the XML document is well formed, and then it ensures that all the elements in the document are same as we have specified in the DTD. So this is non-validating XML parser. Now how can you declare the child elements? So basically there are four types. How can we declare the child elements? Number one is empty, then any, then mixed content, and then child element. Empty, any, mixed content, and child elements. Now what is empty? The empty indicates that there is no content in the element. If there is no content in the element, then it is empty. Any indicates that the content includes any defined element. Here any is used when we can use any defined elements. This is very useful when we are yet to decide the LLM element. When we are yet to decide how many elements can you use, then we can use the keyword any. Then we have mixed content. The mixed content can include a combination of character and child element. And mixed content, it consists of combination of character data and child element. So name is mixed. And then child elements. The child element describes a list of one or more childs. And the child elements basically it declares or defines that a list of how many childs are the list, gives a list of one or more child. Now there are some symbols that are used while deciding that how many child can be used within the XML document, how we can use how many child. So based on that, there are two symbols are there. One is known as comma, another is known as pipe. So basically how many child can we use in an XML document, this is decided by two symbols. One is comma, another is pipe. This is pipe, this is pipe, and this is comma. Now what is the difference? The comma is used when the elements must appear strictly in order in which they are defined in XML element declaration. How the elements are defined in declaration, it should strictly appear in that way. In this case we use comma. I am repeating again. The comma symbol is used when we want that how we have declared the elements, the order in which we have declared the elements, they should come in the same order. Then comma is used, and the pipe is used when the elements may appear one or more times in order. If the element appear one time or more time in any order, this is in order, then the pipe symbol is used. Now there are some other symbols are there. The symbols that decide how many times a child element can appear in the XML document. There are some symbols that decides that how many times a child can appear in the XML document. Earlier was that how child elements are used. Here how much times a child element can appear in the XML document. So there are base three are there: question mark, then asterisk and plus. Based on these three symbols, the comma and the pipe symbol are used to decide how HTML elements are stored in XML document. And this question mark, asterisk and plus is used to decide how many child can be used in XML document. So there is a difference in comma and pipe was used. How they are used? How and this? How many child can be used? The question mark, this symbol indicates that an element may not appear at all or may appear once in the XML document. So basically it is given by 0 or 1. So this question mark symbol decides that the element may not appear or may appear at least once in the XML document. That means what? The child may appear, child element may appear once or may not appear. It is decided by question mark. Now asterisk, the asterisk symbol indicates that the element may not appear at all or may appear any number of times. Asterisk is used to decide that the elements may not appear at all or may appear any number of times. So here is the difference. See, this was used to decide the element may not appear at all or may appear at least once. This one, the element may not appear at all or may appear any number of times. Another is the plus. The plus symbol indicates that the element must appear at least once. Plus, that element must appear at least once or any number of times in the XML document. So I am telling again, this question mark, this symbol indicates that the element may not appear at all or may appear at least once. Asterisk, this symbol indicates that the element may not appear at all or may appear any number of times. Plus, this indicates the element must appear at least once or any number of times. So this three symbol decides how many child element can appear, how child element can appear in the XML document. Then what is attribute list declaration? The attribute list declaration contains the following information. The element to which an attribute is associated. So it contains following information that the element to which an attribute associated, the name of the attribute, the type of the attribute and the default value of the attribute. So there are four things used for attribute declaration. Firstly, the element to which the attribute is associated. Which element the attribute is associated? Means which element contains this attribute, number one. Number two, the name of the attribute. Number three, the value of the attribute. And number four, the default, number three is the type of the attribute. And number four, it is the default value of the attribute. Now, what is the default value of the attribute? There are basically four default value of the attribute. They are required, implied, fixed and supplied. So what does the required value do? The required value of the attribute must be supplied. Required is used, required is the default value of the attribute is required when we want that the value of the attribute must be supplied. Implied, the XML application decides which value of the attribute to use if no value is supplied. So implied, default value implied is used when no value is supplied to the attribute, so which value to use. Then fixed, the value of the attribute is included in the document, in the declaration itself. If the value of the attribute is included in the declaration itself, then fixed is used. And supplied, the supplied is used when the DTD supplies the default value of the attribute. If the DTD supplies the default value of the attribute, then the supplied value is used. So there are basically four values are there: required, implied, fixed and supplied. And the last topic of this chapter, entity. What is entity? Now, an entity is a sequence of character that is used to represent another sequence of character. When a sequence of character is used to represent another sequence of character, this is known as entity. There are some characters that are special interpretation in XML. For example, like greater than sign, then we have less than sign, then delimiters, tags cannot be placed inside the data directly. So we cannot place this type of character inside the data directly. So we have to use some reference, or so we have to do some references. So there are two types of entities. One is predefined entity and another is user defined entity. Now, what is predefined? Predefined means what? If the entity is defined earlier, as I told you earlier, that in HTML tags are predefined and XML tags are user defined. So like this, predefined entities are those entity where the entity values are predefined. We have the entities consists of three parts: ampersand, then name of the entity, and then we will give the semicolon. So the predefined entity consists of three parts: ampersand, name of the entity, and the semicolon. And then we have the user defined entity. The user defined entity here, which we can define are known as user defined. That as I told earlier that some symbols we cannot use directly, we have to use some reference for this. Like say when we want to write say greater than, say we want to write greater than, this one, greater than. So how will I write like this? Ampersand GT semicolon, suppose less than. So ampersand less than semicolon. Then we have like this, say quotation mark. So this one we want to use in the data. So how will you use? Ampersand QUOT. So this all are predefined. This is already predefined, it is there. When we will give like this, already the interpreter will understand, the XML parser will understand. So these are user predefined. Now user defined means what? What we can define as we want. Here, for example, if you want to use this sign, and if I write like this, GREATHEA greater than, so it will not work. Once we write GT, it will work. So this is predefined. User defined means what? How we want. So the basic syntax for creating user defined entity is like this. So user defined means we can define anything. Sign exclamation, entity, then entity name. We can give any entity name. Say I give like this, x1, then say we can write anything within this. So this is user defined. This we can define. This is user defined. So hope you understood from my discussion or lectures. You may find some problem. So if there is any problem, you can ask me, you can comment on this YouTube video, the problem we are facing, and because this is also a practical based, so you will be doing practical. Once the school reopens, you will be doing in the laboratory, you will do practical based on XML, so it will be more clear to you, and hoping you all are studying well at home. And any confusion we have, just you can contact me for confusion, or else you can write in your you write the problems in your copy, so that you can discuss with me your problems and you can ask me. Okay, thank you.